What's something that you think is a waste of money, but everyone buys? Alcohol. Turns out I enjoy money more than I do a drink. Look, a lot of the expensive stuff usually doesn't taste that much different compared to cheaper stuff. Like wines for example, most people, including wine experts, can't tell cheap from expensive in a blind taste test. I think there's been multiple studies on this. Happy Cake Day. Popcorn, drinks, and candy at the movie theater. I've always heard that this is their primary source of income, so I always splurge for a soda and popcorn. The nostalgia will always lure me into buying popcorn. The local theater makes crispy French fries with sriracha ketchup. So delicious. Skins in free games that don't affect gameplay. Depends how much you play a game emo and if you have a job. I play League of Legends a lot. It's completely free. I still throw $20 at it every month or so to get a few skins for the champs I play. I have a damn job, $20 is nothing. I know people that throw down $10 a day for lunch. Those skins really don't cost that much comparatively. If I worked in marketing for a big game studio offering skins and other DLC for purchase, I'd phrase it much like this. $200 plus sneakers. I'm guilty of spending about $150 on a few pairs, but if it's functional, it's worth it. I ran 30 to 40 miles a week at one point and good shoes were well worth the money. Saved me a ton of foot and knee pain. Running shoes are one place I have learned that spending a bit more absolutely makes a difference. I've tried different shoes. I've tried $50 shoes and $100 plus shoes. It's noticeable. I have plantar fasciitis from not wearing supportive enough running shoes at points, and the last thing I am going to do is cheap out on something that helps me minimize foot pain since that affects my mobility. Weddings. People not buying them, but my god, I find it such a waste of money which could be put in a much better cause. House, car, long-term savings, etc. For real. My fiancé and I are just going to run off and get married by ourselves, then throw a party for family and friends afterwards. Many, but not quite all, Apple products. I'm sure they're actually quite durable and whatnot, but for the prices they ask seem ridiculous to me. Maybe it's because EA never bought a phone that cost more than $150. I tend to find perfectly good MP3 players for like $30 to $40, and I don't have a use for the watches. And the fact that there's like a culture around Apple, on top of it. I hate Apple for being so hostile to third parties and right repair, as well as their proprietary software crap. But I have a 2013 MacBook that has lasted 2x longer than any other laptop I've owned. They used to make quality hardware that was easily worth the price. Manicures. You spend how much on your nails? Edit, I mean gaudy over-the-top designs, huge Cardi B monstrosities. It's quite necessary if you work with your hands. And also quite necessary if you're very active with your feet. Keeping good care of your hands and feet is highly undervalued when taken as a part of your physical health as a whole. But that's also something you don't have to pay someone else to do. I had a friend who would pay for me to have a pedi when she would do hers so she would have company. It's expensive to get manis and pedis professionally done, much less regularly. I've been doing mine at home, but I've always taken good care of my hands and feet on my own. Mine are no worse for wear doing them on my own, it's just far nicer to have someone else do it. A new iPhone every time a new one comes out. If your phone is getting the job done and works just fine, you still have camera space, etc. What is the point of getting a new $1,000 phone? I never really understood that. It used to be that a new phone would have some life-changing feature that you could at least kinda justify the new purchase. I think facial recognition was the last practical one we've had. Eventually, folding screens will be cheap and useful enough for mass appeal, but my guess is that we'll adopt folding tablets far before folding phones. Bottled water. Unfortunately, for a larger percentage than you may think, bottled water is a necessity. Like all of the Americans in Flint, Michigan. The town that has not had drinkable water in about 7 years now. bottled water in areas where tap water is safe. I agree, but I usually buy bottled water to keep in my basement in case of an emergency. I don't buy enough or watch enough to justify my own Amazon Prime account, but I still have one. Jesus, this thread is depressing. Fuck people, spend money, who gives a shit? We're all dead anyways. Oh man, if you think this thread is depressing, check out r/personal finance. Wanna get shamed for buying literally anything? That's your sub. Designers clothing. Multiple phone cases, like one works fine. Why do you need 5 different seasons? For the 5 seasons. Lottery tickets. My friend's dad has paid for lottery tickets every week for over 50 years and still hasn't hit the jackpot. He believes that if he stopped he'd potentially miss out on a winning ticket. Sadly, that literally happened to my uncle. He bought the same numbers every week for years. The one time my aunt forgot to buy the tickets, their numbers came up. They would have had set for generations' money. More than one purse. I know it's for fashion, but isn't it just a pain in the ass to swap out your keys and wallet into a new bag that goes with your outfit every day? I use one until it falls apart, unless it's a super fancy event in which I have a special fancy one someone gave me, removed. Here is a free silver I got today. How do you get free silver? Extremely expensive weddings. Don't get me wrong, don't get married in the back of a truck, but some people waste an unimaginable amount of money. The worst thing is, they spend all of their life savings in the wedding and don't leave a penny for life itself. I can't recall where, but I vaguely recall hearing of a study that linked the expensiveness of a wedding to the likelihood of a divorce. If you two getting married are truly happy, then the wedding is just gravy on top. Greater than $20,000 wedding equals 3.5x likelihood of divorce. Also, the more people attend, the less likely you are to divorce. Also has some interesting info on engagement rings. https://www.smessians.com/science/news/wedding spending 432/ Home devices like Amazon Echo. On the subject of gadgets, wireless charging pads. They're cool, I guess, but if you really think about it, it's not much different than just popping it in the plug real quick. I'm also a pretty minimal person though, and don't like having crap lying around that I don't absolutely need. Starbucks and the like. I enjoy their holiday-themed hot chocolate and iced green tea. I rarely spend my own money. Between expenses accounts pre-COVID and the abundance of gift cards that I accumulated over the last 5 years, I haven't paid for a Starbucks drink in a long time. Diamond fucking rings, yes. And honestly, jewelry in general. This includes fancy watches. Agreed. I've never understood the appeal. I don't think I would, even if I could afford all of that stuff. My goal is to marry a woman who doesn't care about fancy weddings and expensive junk, but a woman who would rather spend that money on a vacation to NZ or Africa or something worthwhile. Gambling. I have never, and will never, bought a lottery ticket or been in a casino. I don't gamble, but I love casinos. I mean nice ones with good food and entertainment. Not that weird truck stop in Mississippi where there's some ancient lady with an oxygen tank that keeps having to switch between a Newport 100 and her mask because she's yanking on the one-armed bandit. High-end casinos are fantastic for people that don't gamble. Broadway quality shows, fantastic entertainment and world-class dining. On Wednesdays, before COVID, a casino near me has Italian seafood night. The cover is always $22 a person, but it was easily a $50 meal. Any bank account that charges you money. You are lending the bank your money, they should be paying you, not the other way around. Credit unions are great. Not everyone buys them, but alcohol and cigarettes are major wastes of money and life. I disagree to an extent. Drinking and smoking in moderation is fun, and if having fun is a waste of money, then I don't know what's left. I actually like the taste of beer and wine, so like you, I disagree that they're a waste. Not everyone buys alcohol to get hammered. Quite a lot of people taste them much like they taste food and enjoy the experience. Soft drinks at restaurants. By the time you add tip it's like $4/person, so for a family of 5 you are paying $20 for essentially a $1.50 2-liter. The only time we ever got to order a pop at a restaurant growing up was on our birthdays, and I have carried that on with my own kids. But you can't bring a 2-liter bottle of soda into a restaurant. Brand new / designer baby and children's clothes. For the love of God, they'll be wearing it for 6 months and probably get an unknown red substance on it at one point. Why? Yep. I have an 18-month-old. I was told to not put any clothes on the baby registry because people will just give them anyway or give us hand-me-downs. Well, that was true, because besides one pair of shoes and couple PJs I am set until he is 3. We had clothes from the older kids still, so everything we were gifted got tried on and we sent a photo of her wearing it and either sold them or returned. Boxed cake mixes. For most you have to add eggs and oil. Sure, if you do that then you're halfway to making it from scratch. Yeah, but where am I gonna source locally grown funfetti? Well, I suppose if you don't have a local organic unicorn ranch to harvest it from, then store-bought is fine. Caskets. The latest iPhone, or Android, whichever. Having a phone is not a waste. Needing the latest and greatest, $1,000 flagship phone isn't necessary. Dare I say, shit on Reddit.